morning, everybody. 8:10 a.m. It is November 30th, the last day of November. So might get some craziness today at the close for the month end. Market is nuts. This market is very, very hard to read. A lot of fake outs. Yesterday broke up real high. Talked about it early on in the scenarios. I said 100% net long. I said AMR gapping up. If we come through the open, could possibly come right back down, and it did. And then it held an important. So this market is just crazy, really nuts. Usually, when you have a look above and fail, you usually go down to the bottom of the balance area, um, which it kind of did, but not all the way. And then you had some good earnings from Snow and Salesforce this morning, and you have the Cybertruck in Tesla. So I don't know. This is crazy. You have a huge level 4565 in the ES. That's just sticky, and the big move is coming. But these fake outs, it just shows you how resilient the bulls are right now. Because a couple of those fake outs, and you go back down 2 days in a row, and you don't go lower, that's a sign that we could get one leg higher coming up, and we're not getting that. You're not getting that pullback. So, but we'll have to see. Anyway, welcome to my channel. My name's Steven Gonzalez. Use volume profile, market profile to find structure in this nuts market. Okay. I also use supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, and the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. All to find structure in the market. And price action fools me sometimes still, even though the structure, because it's not easy, right? It pulls on your emotional strings, and you might think one thing's happening, and then the next thing, oh my God, what's going on now? That's what the latest market is. That's why it's hard to have algos and all this stuff in this market, because you're talking about human emotions. That's why this market is so complex. That's why you can love it, you can hate it. It's very hard. So without further ado, subscribe, set an alert if you haven't already. Okay. Also, if you like what you're seeing, give me a thumbs up. That would help me out. And if you could also follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay. Now we can get right into the futures watch list. Okay. Let's do that now. And look at here. There's the crude, right? I've been talking about crude bottoming out. Now Saudi Arabia just talked about cuts. So this could be the next leg up for crude. Okay. Now I do have the most traded price of the year on. We'll look at that in a little bit. It has broke that, and it's pulled back to it. So have to see. I want a little more confirmation before I do anything. Okay. Ether's up 0.78. Well, crude is up percent, right? Up almost 0.79 cents a barrel. The VIX is up 0.62. The Dow is up 0.59. The Russell's up 0.49. Bitcoin's up 0.46. The dollar is up today 0.37. All right, the Nasdaq is up 0.32. ES up 0.31. Silver's up 0.17. All right. Now 30-year bonds are being sold a little bit this morning. Gold is down 0.31, still over 2K. So maybe a little profit taking there. All right. That's what's going on. We also, well, we'll talk about it in a second. It's coming at 8:30. You got core PCE, you got jobless claims. Let's go over to stocks I like to day trade and swing. All right, Snow basically had good earnings. That's up 7.42%. Geez, I was looking at this when it was at like 160. You never know with earnings though. Tesla is almost up 1%. Okay. Roblox. Remember, they got that 39 big positive gamma level. That's been resistance. Okay, that's up 0.57. AMD up 0.53. Microsoft up 0.51. All right. Now we have any laggard to speak of. Amazon is down 0.24. Coin, is that ever going to take a breather? My lord. Down 0.8. 130 is a huge positive gamma level in coin. Huge. Okay. That's been resistant. Okay, peaked above it yesterday, but still acted as resistance. So have to see what goes on there. Okay, and let's move on. Top sector stocks. Who we got here? The leader, Salesforce with earnings. Okay, up 8.8%. It actually had an alert set at a key resistance level. It broke that without earnings, and now it's just off to the races a little bit. Okay. Then you got Chevron, Exxon with crude. All right, Qualcomm, semis. All right, now let's look at Costco. Looks like they're reporting earnings soon, so let's go to laggards. All right, you got some staples, PepsiCo and McDonald's. Well, McDonald's is a consumer discretionary, but PepsiCo is a staple. They're down a little bit. All right, let's look at sectors. No surprise, energy's leading the pack, 0.61. Technology, that's Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, up 0.6. Okay. Semis up 0.29. Discretionary, 0.26. Communications up 0.24. All right, so now the bottom of the pack, there is no laggard today. Now healthcare, it's holding steady, it's pulling back. United Healthcare had a little bit of a pullback. Okay, so really watching that. All right, because healthcare really needs to just start moving in order for this market to start moving. All right, that's the second largest sector in the S&P. Okay, so that's very key. You finally got some type of a pullback in United Healthcare. So we'll have to see with that. All right, strongest sector in the morning is the Dow. All right, Salesforce is part of the Dow, so that's pushing it, help pushing it. All right, now let's get into some news. We have news coming out, so let's see here. All right, so we'll look at news, look at the economic calendar. We got core PCE today. Okay, so core PCE is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. All right, so consensus is 0.3, previous was 0.3. Consensus is 0.2. Consensus is expecting a 0.1 reduction, but the forecast is 0.3. Okay, so that would be the same. So we'll have to see. You got personal income, personal spending. We got initial jobless claims. Okay, before it was 209. All right, this is the consensus. The forecast is 213. Consensus is 220. So bullish is a large print here to beat this number because obviously you want more jobless claims for the Fed to have to not raise interest rates. Okay, so the PCE year over year consensus is 3, previous 3.4. So they're looking for around a 0.3, a 0.3 reduction to 0.4 to 0.3 reduction in the core PCE. You have Chicago PMI at 945, pending home sales at 10 and 10 a.m. So 10 a.m. it's a little tricky here. At 9:45 and 10 a.m. it's really tricky to not initiate a trade by them because you might get whipped out. All right, be careful with that. I'm gonna write a note for myself. I usually set an alarm. Just writing myself a note. All right. So we have Fed Williams speaking at 9:05 as well. So let's see what that happens at 8:30. We can go back and look at that market. All right. Let's go to some news. Tesla delivering Cybertruck after most tempers expectations. OPEC we talked about. Discussing additional output cuts. What else was there? Salesforce, Snowflake, talked about that. Yeah, I don't think there's much in here that I actually wanted to go over. Yeah. All right, a couple things I wanted to talk about here. Let's see right here. All right, this is that chart I kept talking about. Now, this is the percentage of S&P 500 stocks that are over the 20-day moving average. Now look what happened here. We hit 90. Now we didn't get really a pullback yet, that much of a pullback, but you could see it when it hit 90. Well, now we're only at 79%, almost 80% stocks over the 20-day moving average. We were at 90. That's usually a topping point. Okay. And the other thing is the call ratio. I usually have an alert set on that, and that gave me the trigger of a market reversal. That just means a super amount of calls were being bought over puts in that extreme level, and then you got the reversal. Now this wasn't part of that reversal. I got that P call, ticker $ P call reversal trigger like at the beginning of the market yesterday. I don't use that as always, but it's just it's just like an indicator of like, oh, okay, calls are being overbought. We could get a reversal. So, and again, doesn't mean I have a macro short on the S&P right now. Just showing you certain things that I'm looking at. Okay. What else? We can get into daily charts. Let's do that. Other things in the news: Duke Energy, which is utilities sector, got an upgrade. Ally got an upgrade. Obviously, we talked about Snow and Salesforce earnings. All right, so quick look at the SPY. Now, what did we do yesterday? We broke out of the balance high. We broke last week's highs, the orange, came all the way up, right? Thought we were breaking out and closed all the way back down. We actually didn't go down to the balance lows down here, 453, but we did make it a 454. So just a crazy market, okay? Because you did break out of the 2-day highs the day before and failed at the previous week's highs. This one broke out and went all the way back down. So I don't know. Market's getting kind of toppy, but you'd think maybe we'd be at least pull back to here, but that's not happening. Okay. You can see some key levels I have on my chart here. We hit that 458 right to the tick pretty much. Okay. So let's look at the key. Where are we at now? 456. We're basically at last week's highs right now. Right now, pre-market. All right, let's look at the Qs. What the Qs do? So what do? We broke last week's highs, went all the way up to 394.14, and came all the way back. Not down here to 388s, right? So right now we're at 391. So obviously a little weaker in the Nasdaq. We're down all the way here. We're about in the lower third of yesterday's session. Okay, so that tells you a little something. Like the Nasdaq is not as strong where we are structurally. SPY is at last week's highs, and you're not by that in the Nasdaq and the Qs. Okay. Now, quick look at the Dow. Dow is not looking like the other ones, right? It's holding above last week's highs, and that's because financials are pushing it. Okay. United Healthcare took a little bit of a pullback, so that's the largest holding, but financials and healthcare pushed up a little bit of late, and now you got Salesforce, that's part of the Dow, pushing it. Okay. And IWM hit that 100-day and 200-day moving average again and whipped back and closed underneath last week's highs. Okay. And that's right now 178. It's like right here. So, very interesting. Let's move over to triple-headed monster. And we'll look at that bond market, because that went down yesterday almost to the 4.2 support level that I've been talking about, right? So that's just ripped down here. Now, can it go lower? And then it's going to push the market higher. Okay. Today, the 10-year yield is up 0.3%. Okay, 0.3. So The longer it hangs out here, 4.2, 4.0, 200-day moving average. Okay, that's the only moving average it is not below right now. It's below the 100-day moving average. Okay, so that's the story in the bond market. All right, now we look at the dollar. The dollar has got a little bit of life today, and that's because the euro. I think France came out with better inflation data than predicted. So the euro went down, and that's going to make the dollar go up a little bit. But you can see this is last week's lows. It went up here, and then it fell, got some resistance. So weaker dollar, strong bonds. You know, well, the yields going lower helps stocks. Okay, so that's what the story is right there. The VIX is we're complacent here. Okay, all the way down here, right? Fear, you're not going to see any fear unless we break 14. It's just complacent. Okay, now I talked about the P call. Let's just look at that. Okay, I have my level set here. Let's see here. So there we go. That's the thing that triggered. Geez. Okay, this was the day. This is a couple days ago. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of calls right here, right? But this is the extreme level right here, 0.5. So that pushed through that yesterday. Okay, now look at this. This has been support, 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 and wham. That's like everybody's buying calls right here. Crazy. That's an extreme reading. Okay, then we did it again yesterday. Okay, now you can notice every time you hit this level, you usually go back up. And look what happened that day. It went all the way, it opened here, right? Closed all the way down there a couple days ago. And it went all the way to the top. So just crazy. So just interesting to look at. All right. So, all right, moving on. Moving on to, let's go to the market profile. And we'll go back to that news. Okay. Because that's going to be, the market right now is definitely balancing. Okay, bouncing overnight, kind of waiting for this number. I mean, I think everybody's expecting a soft number. I don't think it's going to be bearish, but you could always be surprised. That's coming out in 2 minutes. Okay, I don't know why this is giving me a problem right now. I mean, 1 second. I might have to go right to the news here if this pen is not working right. Here we go. We'll get to look at this right here. There's that excess, and now you have a little excess, still pretty much back in balance, right? We got this big 45.65 level, most trader price of the month and the week. Okay, and look at this, most trader price of the overnight is there as well. And you do have a very balanced market overnight. Got excess at the top, excess at the bottom, so that's a balanced market. Okay, it opened up here. You have short, long. Okay, you're in supply right now, but this supply won't matter if this news comes out and it's noteworthy. Okay, big move up yesterday. Big move up yesterday. There's the low. We're in the middle of yesterday. That doesn't tell you a lot. We're not too far away from the most traded price. That doesn't tell you a lot. We're at the midpoint of yesterday's session right here. Okay, so we're going to probably get some move right now. Okay, I'm going to break this out so we can see it in 30-minute bars and see what happens when the news drops. I will go back to the news and see what comes up. It's coming out in 10 seconds. Probably going to get some whippiness right here. Let's see. Usually right before, like right now, boom, news dropped. I'm trying to see here. Market's whipping around. Let's see what we have here. All right, what do we got? Jobless claims, pretty much in line. A little under. They're 218. So it's the forecast was 213. It beat it 218, but the consensus was 220. So kind of, let's see, core PCE. Why is that not coming in yet? That should be coming in here. There we go. Okay. So PCE year over year, 3%. Consensus was 3%. So we kind of got what we expected. It did go down. Okay. But kind of in line. Okay. Core PCE. Consensus was 0.2. Forecast was 0.3. Actual came in at 0.2. So nothing really to be like wow or anything about these numbers. Okay, it's not bearish, it's really not bullish, it's what was expected. Market's moving up a little bit, but I mean it was really in the same place. It had a little volatility, but we're kind of in the same place. So let's look at this together now. This could change, but right now it's kind of a nothing burger so far. All right, we can get right back into almost talking about structure. Okay, so I already talked about where we're at. Okay, we're in the middle of the muddle right now. It's a horrible place to be, right by the most traded price of the month and the week. Okay, we're right below the midpoint of yesterday. This is not a lot of edge. Okay, this is this is the chop zone area, and I mean, you had 2 days of a failed breakout, but the market's resilient because it's not like breaking down. It's crazy. I mean, usually when you have one of these, I mean, you had one of these that broke all these highs, right? And then you went all the way back down, but it never broke these lows. Okay? Then you have yesterday where you opened here, you went up a little bit, came all the way down here. Usually you test this bottom here. You didn't. You close right at the most traded price of the month and the week. Bulls are resilient right now. Remember, it's month end. There could be a lot of games played today. Okay. So today's the last day of November. Heard it's going to be the best November since I don't remember when. I know it's the best month for bonds since 2008. So we have to see. Okay, so we are in supply, and the supply is holding. But man, it's really about the edges now that this has been broken out. You don't really have a percent. You have supply up here from that big move down. It's really tricky, really tricky. So I mean, the simplest terms when we talk about scenarios here, okay, is what we're going to have to talk about is what could happen. All right, and what could happen is you have a semi-weak low here. You got the overnight low, and you got the RTH low yesterday, but then you have these bracket lows, the balance lows here. Okay, and you have demand that still is strong here, really hasn't been broken. So this market needs to do one or two things. It needs to go this way and find out what we're going to do, or go this way. Okay. Now again, we're coiling again in this price, so still a big move is on the horizon. Now we just tried to go up yesterday and failed. So this market is still resilient. It's still bullish structure. Okay. Until this is broken down here, bullish. So let's talk about that. All right, let's say we open up, hit the supply, come underneath that big level. You're probably going to take out these two lows if you do, but hey, you got demand here in the bottom of this balance. Okay, If this holds, you guessed it, we're going to go back up, test this, and then try to make our move back. Okay. Now, conversely, what you need to see in the market is one or two things. You can hold this supply, cut under this huge level, hold it, then you have to test these lows. If you break the lows and hold it, we're going to fall. We're going to fall down to this naked VPOC down here. Okay. You can see this naked VPOC right here. I talked about that pre-market. That could be the resistance, and that was the resistance. Okay. So you either got that, or the market makes a move up into this supply, and you can't touch the highs of yesterday, and you make lower highs, and then you come down here, break through this level, and the same thing. Okay. That's the ultimate bear scenarios. I mean, you could also come down here and just hold down here and like end up here, right? That's really what I see today. It's just a nuts market. It really is. Usually you don't get two failed breakouts and then you're just back. That's just right there telling me there's strength in this market. That's, you don't have two look above and fails and then you don't go lower. That's very rare. And it's very hard to be bearish today in this market. Very, very hard. Okay, let's check out the NASDAQ. Let's see where we're at here. Now the NASDAQ has moved its most traded price of the month here. Okay, finally moved it. Okay, what's that price? 160.21. So they finally moved the most traded price here. So that's ultimate balance, okay? So big move is coming. Big move is coming. All right, let's look at our weekly profile. There's our excess at the top. You got kind of a double distribution with the excess at the bottom. Okay, where's price? Right here. Okay, in the middle of the muddle. Above the most traded price of the week and the month. But really just in the middle of the muddle. Okay. What do we have overnight? You do have a 45 degree. That kind of means that shorts have poor location. What else do we have? We do have a little bit of a, that's the only short activity to that long activity, but you're back into the almost the middle of the session, so there's not much edge there. All right, what else? This is yesterday's highs, this is yesterday's lows. Look at the lows. See, it held these levels. That's bullish. Okay, now, but high yesterday, low yesterday, overnight high, overnight low, price. Okay, right around the most traded price of yesterday. So not a lot of edge there. Okay, not a lot of edge there. Okay, so, but you do have one thing in the Nasdaq's favor is part kind of like a weak low right here, because this is the RTH low. Notice that RTH low is right on this huge level. That's the line in the sand for the Nasdaq. If you break that, right, you're probably going to test the bottom of this balance levels right here, all these lows. And if you break that, you got demand here, but it could really cascade. Don't know if that's in the cards, right? So let's go over some scenarios here. All right, so this is our area to defend for the bulls. All right, that's the area. So you can come up into the supply, come back down. If this holds lower highs, you could get the move up. Probably if you don't take out the supply earlier, you're going to have a little trouble, but then you move back up, and then there's supply right here. See if you can test those highs from yesterday. Okay. Conversely, with the bear, all right, you got supply from here and up in here. Okay. So you're above this level. Okay. So if you're above it, one thing, we have supply here. If it can't get above this, it's going to test this. If you break and hold that big level, you're probably going to test these lows. Okay, if you test these lows and break, we're gonna fall to this demand, and either you get a bounce here or you fall here. A lot of demand below this. Don't know if that happens. Okay, you can also come up into this supply, test up this high and this high, and then you can start falling apart, and probably you come down to here. This is the big test, and if you break it and hold it, you could go lower. That's really what I have to look at today. The extremes, not in the middle of this crap. That's a chop zone. Right? And you just got to be patient and wait for it, because you're going to get a lot of fake outs. You're going to get a lot of weirdness, okay, with the markets. Yeah, there's one thing I could show you guys. One more thing. One more thing here. I just wanted to show you this little trend line on an hourly chart here. I'm not putting all my weight into it, but it's significant right here. This is significant because look, one touch, two touch, three touch, four touch. Okay, so this trend line has been pretty significant. Okay, now look what it lines up with. It's pretty cool. Okay, what it lines up with. So think of this. This could happen. Come up here, test this. Look what that does. If that breaks that trend, what else does it break? The most traded price of the month and the week. Boom. Then what else happens? You're testing all this support here. If you break that, there's nothing stopping you to go down here. That's when trend lines line up with the most traded price. That's a pretty good confluence there. Okay. That's about it for me. Subscribe, set an alert if you enjoyed this content. Okay. If you really enjoyed it, give me a like. That would help me out. You could always follow me on X at Gonzo719. And that's going to be it for me today. Good luck to everybody. Stay green, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.